Hi guys, welcome to another Top Table Wargaming video. In this video we are going to be reviewing one of the new releases from Unreleased Miniatures, and it is the Last King of the Noble Elves, aka Gil Galad mounted. This is a model that a lot of people in the Hobbit community I've had a go at converting, because GW never released a mounted version, although he is mountable in his profile. So, I mean, for me personally, this is a great model now that's been released, because it's something that I wanted. I did convert one of my own. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some pictures just to sort of get the feel and the look of Gil Galad in the video that I've done, some of my incarnations, if you like, of Gil Galad. So they'll be coming up now. So let's get on to what you get for your money. As we all know, Gil Galad is a high elf. He's a very, very good hero in the game. I'll get onto that later on. Let's just have a look at the sculpt itself, what you're getting if you purchase this model. As you can see, it's a metal model. Unreleased Miniatures have previously released their products in resin, which there's no problems with whatsoever. This is in metal, which I'm really pleased about. I'm one of them people who prefer metal for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is, you know, when you pick a metal model up, you know you're picking a metal model up. It's got a nice bit of weight to it. You feel like you're getting something for your money. With resin, it's so lightweight. You know, they're easily knocked over. I know people have the issues with metal models, especially mounted ones or taller ones, where you're standing them on a slope, or if you have a Realm of Battle board, you'll know the issues there with things sliding down the slopes, etc. But there is ways around that. Things you can do to the base, or things you can do to your gaming board to stop it from sliding. I just prefer it. I wouldn't say one is better than the other, because each of them have their own benefits and their own negatives. One of the ones for me, again to do with the weight, is when it comes to painting. I much prefer painting metal models. I think they're easier to hold and to manage and to hold still. That might sound strange, but when I say that, what I mean is when you're holding something that's got its own bit of weight to it, you can kind of counterbalance it with with the way you hold it, your stance. With a resin model, because they're so lightweight, if you've got a slight, how can I put, like a twitch or something like that, just as you're about to paint an eye socket, or a very fine bit of detail, there's no way to counter that, and it can be moving all over the place. But again, these are just personal preferences on my behalf. I wouldn't say that you shouldn't buy one over the other. I'm just really pleased that this has been released in metal. So, getting on to the model, we'll look at the horse first. As you can see, it's a nice pose. Looks like the horse is like slightly galloping, if you like. The bottom half comes with the Gil Galad's waist and legs attached to the horse, which again is fine by me. I really like the detail in the armour that they've put on the horse. It ties in very, very well with the high elf armour. If you're familiar with it, you'll know what I mean by that. And yeah, it's a nice looking horse. Nice detail on the, I don't know what you'd call this, the armour on the horse's head. Whether you'd call it a helm, I'm not too sure. But yeah, so I'm happy with that. You have the legs again with the armour detail, and as you can see, if I put them together, you'll kind of get an idea of the galloping pose. You can see what I mean by that. Yeah, there you go. One thing I will say, there's been a few things that I've noticed. I think I might have mentioned this before, where I've seen people on the internet commenting on the gaps and saying that the gaps are too big, etc., on the joints in the metal. For me personally, and for anyone else who's worked with metal, you'll know that you're going to get gaps. The gaps on these, from what I can see, are no better or worse than other metal models that I've purchased and used in the past. So I wouldn't let things like that put you off. If you've used metal models before, you'll know, excuse me, that there will be some file work and putty work just to get them joints nice and neat. I mean, they're not. I don't know what people are complaining about. I mean, if you look at that joint there, that doesn't need anything doing to it. That's just putty. But I mean, the joint there, just at the bottom of the neck, you probably could get away with just putty in that. I mean, I will file away. I'll smoothen the base area out, and I'll smooth the area out here, so it's like the two points of contact are perfectly smooth, so that when I do glue it and pin it, it's getting a nice clean contact and there's no gaps. But you could, I mean, if I stuck that on there now and putted it, there's no way, you wouldn't see it. It would not show up once that model's painted. So as far as listening to what the other people are saying, I wouldn't take too much notice. Everyone's entitled to an opinion, that's fine, but I just think, you know, if you've used metal models before, to make comments like that, it's quite naive. So that's the horse. We'll move on before we get to Gil Galad himself. The weaponry he comes with. He comes with this beautiful shield, as you can see. It's a take on the existing High Elf shield, but this is a lot more elaborate. It's got some nice pattern in it. And it's really going to make him stand out on the tabletop from his standard warriors with the standard shields. Really like that and like that touch. I think it was a good idea to do that rather than go with the basic shield. And onto his trusty spear. I think I pronounced this right. I think it's Aeglas or something. I'm not too sure how you pronounce it. I'm sure someone will correct me. As you can see, again, nothing wrong with the sculpt, that's fine. Nice detail on the hilt, if that's what it is, of the blade of the spear, just like the original. And we're getting a sneak peek there of the style of armour, which again is the High Elf armour, interlocking and overlapping style, which is really cool, and it's done a fantastic job of that. I can personally you know, doff my cap, if you like, because I had a go at sculpting elven armour from scratch on Gil Galad, one of the Gil Galads that I've done, and I know how difficult it is, so kudos to you, dude. That is an awesome job. And onto Gil Galad himself. Try and get a good picture of the face features and the detail on the armour. I think they've done a fantastic job with this. I'm really happy with it. I actually prefer the face sculpt on this over the Gil Galad like real GW sculpt. I was never really keen on it. It's got a really like long head, which I wasn't keen on. This looks better for me. Again, that's my personal opinion. They have slightly changed the design, it looks like to me, on the armour, I think. Recalling it off the top of my head, I think they've added the cloth down the sides, may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's not on the original. Again, that's not a negative comment. I quite like it. It looks cool. And oh, excuse me. And the cloak detail, very good, very clean, very nice, and very realistic. I cannot fault it. So yeah, so that's the models that you're going to get if you decide to purchase this. As far as would I recommend purchasing it? Yes. I think it's great. I love it. You would have seen my effort at the conversion, which at the time I thought I'd done a fairly good job on it, and I was really happy with. This knocks that out of the water. I've not seen a Gil Galad mounted better than this, conversion wise, and I've seen a lot, and by that I mean I've seen some converted Gil Galads in person and online that have been spectacular. But I think it's mainly the paint job that's made it stand out. There was one in particular which a lot of you may have seen, and it was a high elf Numenor army, and there's a lot of freehand work with planets and stars and solar systems on the cloth work, etc. I mean, that was just outstanding. But the conversion itself was fairly basic. This pose is superior. Again, that's just my opinion, and it's nice. It's nice just to get a new model with a new pose, and just have something that's going to look different on the table, something that nobody's seen before. So that's cool. I'll quickly move on to the profile for Gil Galad mounted. I'm not going to mention his points cost because I just don't want to upset anyone. But basically, if you mount Gil Galad and you give him a shield, and he also has the option, if you've got high elf warriors, he has an option to increase their fight value to 6, which is immense. It means that your standard troops are going toe to toe with very, very good heroes, and are bettering your average heroes who are fight 5. You know, you can't knock that. He causes terror, which again is great against low courage armies. You get to choose when he's in a fight. It's highly unlikely that he's going to get charged if you're fighting things like orcs or goblins. He's woodland creature. Again, that's great, especially on a horse, because the manoeuvrability that gives you is just fantastic. And he also has a rule, because he's the High King of the Elves, where his standfast is 12 inches. Now, 12-inch standfast is not to be sniffed at. That's 12 inches left, right, front, back. So basically, it's a 2-foot bubble around Gil Galad, which, you know, as we all know, you know, players who play Hobbit SPG a lot, unless you're playing domination, a lot of the action happens in one small area on the board, and if he's anywhere near that area, your warriors are not going anywhere. He's courage 7, so, you know, like, again, it's highly unlikely he's going to fail a courage test. His fight value is 9. Now, fight value 9 means you don't really need to heroic strike, unless you want to be certain, and someone with a fairly high fight value is heroic striking already. So you're always going to win on that score. You're always going to win draws. He's strength 4, which is decent strength. Can't knock that. Defense 7, which bumps to defense 8 if you give him the shield. 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 3 might, 3 will, and 1 fate. Obviously, the 1 fate is to signify that he does actually die. But I think with 3 wounds and 1 fate and defense 8 and fight 9, unless something really bad happens in game, I think you're going to be alright. I've seen him played a few times. Jay Finnegan, Mr. Gilball Informer, he played him quite a lot, and he done very, very well with him. I've seen him probably. Let's put it as a percentage. I have seen him do badly, but I think that was due to player error more than anything else. And I think I could probably say 90% of the time Gil Galad just can't be beat. I played a game against Jay with Gondor, and I had Gil Galad surrounded by Faramir, I think it was Boromir, and a captain or someone else, and he just kept winning. I couldn't wound him. He ended up winning the game, and that combat was going on for about 8 or 9 turns. I just could not get through. It was so frustrating, but fun at the same time, because you know, at the end of the day, it's Gil Galad. He's king of the elves, and he's a beast. So that's talking about his profile. Oh, I've forgotten one massive thing. His spear, A-glass. Basically, what it means, it adds +1 to his dice roll to wound. So it's like, you know, he's going to wound fairly easily anyway. He's strength 4, and you're getting +1. That's just crazy. It's just crazy. And for his points value, I'm not going to mention his points, like I said. It's not that expensive for what you're getting, I don't think. I think for what you're getting, he's very cheap. But again, that's down to personal preference. You can get the twins for the same price, where you're getting two heroes, more might, will, and fate. But I just think for fight 9, defense 8, you know, having woodland creature on a horse and that standfast, that's just going to be fun. You know that's just going to be fun. So that's his profile. I'm not going to waffle on about that too much. But yeah, if you do play SBG, you'll know what I'm talking about with the stats wise there, and you'll understand why I'm saying he's so good. I'll move on to the quality of the cast itself. Can't fault it, no problems. There's not much flash. There's a couple of little areas that I'll need to file down and sharpen up the odd edge here or there, but you know, that's I'm used to that. I expect that most of the time. There's nothing that jumps out that's out of the ordinary that I didn't expect, so no faults there. The model itself fits in perfectly with the Lord of the Rings range. Again, they've emulated the armour, the look of the elf itself, the scale is bang on with the horse and the elf, so there's no problems there. This is probably my favourite release that they've done so far, and that's quite a bold statement, because I've really liked some of the releases. The Dane I really liked, but I think this has just pipped it, simply because I've liked Gil Galad for so long, as you can probably tell by some of the work that I've done on Gil Galad models. So yeah, this is right on my street. Marks out of 10, 9.5. I think to give something a 10, it's really going to have to bowl me over. This is very good, and it's a model that I'm over the moon is now out there, and I'm able to get it painted up and use it. But I'm not gonna give a 10 out just yet. But 9.5, so it's well up there. So yeah, so as far as recommending it, yes, I recommend that you get this model if you have Gil Galad. If you're going to use Gil Galad in a force, I think he's worth getting. So that's it for this video. I'd like to hear your comments on the pose. If you're one of the people who have purchased this model, if you're thinking of purchasing this model, what you think from seeing it a bit more up close and personal, and whether you like the style of the video. If there's any way that you think would be a better style of review video, etc. Like I say, keep in touch. Still getting a lot of messages on Facebook, which is great. You know, comments in the box and clicking that like button really helps me out. You know, doing these videos just take up a bit of time, and just to try and get a little bit of something back, clicking the like button, dropping me a comment, it's really appreciated. So I'll leave you to it for this evening, guys, and look forward to the next review video. I've got quite a few coming up hopefully this week. I've got some of the hobby vlogs coming up this week, and build with me. I'll get them uploaded and out there as soon as I can. Time is my enemy at the minute, but you know, I'll do what I can. So yeah, keep watching, keep looking at the Facebook page, like, comment, share, subscribe, get Top Table Wargaming, get that name out there. You know, recommend people. If you're in forums, drop a link in, and yeah, hopefully this can build and we can move on from it. And you know, the more feedback I get and likes and shares, etc., the more I'll be able to do. So yeah, that's it really. So I'll see you in the next video. Keep gaming, guys, and take care. Bye bye.